Sweden's relationship with the Baltic Sea has always defined its maritime thinking, not just geographically but culturally and strategically. Unlike nations that prepare for blue water operations on the open ocean, Sweden has long understood that its defense challenges lie in the shallow, island-dotted and radar-cluttered waters of the Baltic. In such an environment, massive destroyers or carrier strike groups offer diminishing returns, while small, stealthy and highly maneuverable platforms become decisive. This context makes the Visby-class corvette not a scaled-down warship, but the exact type of vessel that Sweden requires for its unique battle space. The Visby was engineered for a domain where visibility equals vulnerability. The Baltic's narrow channels, archipelago choke points and cold, shallow waters create natural zones of radar shadow and acoustic distortion. Large ships become easy targets, but a vessel that blends into the background gains a critical edge. This is why the Visby's hull is made of carbon fiber reinforced plastic, a material that absorbs radar signals instead of reflecting them. It is why external fittings are hidden behind smooth geometric surfaces, and why the heat signature of the ship is carefully minimized. The goal is not cosmetic stealth, but operational invisibility. The ship is meant to disappear into the clutter, to become part of the environment rather than an object within it. Initially, the Visby's mission set revolved around traditional coastal warfare, anti-ship engagements, anti-submarine patrols and mine countermeasures. Its loadout reflected this purpose, featuring RBS-15 anti-ship missiles, lightweight torpedoes, advanced sonar systems and a 57mm Bofors gun. The tactical vision was clear: the corvette would stalk, ambush, strike and retreat, a coastal predator designed to exploit terrain, confusion and speed. It could disable or deter intruding ships while remaining difficult to track or target. In essence, the Visby was optimized for offensive asymmetry, hitting hard and vanishing before the enemy could respond. However, the evolution of Sweden's defense priorities has transformed the character and value of the Visby. The decision to equip the corvette with the CAMM, or Common Anti-Air Modular Missile System, represents a fundamental shift from offense-centric stealth to an integrated defensive role. With modern intercept capabilities, the Visby gains the power to shield not just itself but nearby vessels and coastal infrastructure. This moves it from being a lone hunter to a defensive anchor within Sweden's maritime security network. This change must be understood in the context of the last decade of increasing Russian military activity in the Baltic region. The rise in long-range aviation patrols, missile-armed surface vessels, and electronic warfare deployments forced Sweden to rethink its long-standing underinvestment in naval air defense. Until recently, the Swedish Navy relied heavily on the logic that speed, stealth and geography would mitigate air threats. But the environment has changed. With CAMM on board, the Visby now provides an outer layer of protection that the Swedish surface fleet previously lacked. It extends a defensive bubble, complicating enemy targeting efforts and making Swedish coastal waters more difficult and dangerous to access. This aligns perfectly with Sweden's broader naval strategy, which emphasizes denial rather than dominance. The goal is not to destroy every adversary platform but to prevent hostile forces from maneuvering freely. Here the Visby excels. Its RBS-15 missiles can create lethal zones that restrict enemy ship movement, while its ability to operate silently among the islands gives Sweden dominance over key maritime corridors. In wargame simulations, a single Visby maneuvering between archipelagos can effectively lock down entire waterways by forcing opponents to assume it is present even when visually or electronically undetectable. It uses uncertainty as a weapon. The Visby becomes even more formidable when paired with the Gotland-class submarines. If the corvette is the invisible predator above the waterline, Gotland is its underwater counterpart. One hunts surface ships, the other hunts submarines. Together they create what Swedish strategists call a multi-layered zone of invisibility, a battle space where enemy forces face threats from above and below without knowing where these threats originate or how many assets Sweden has deployed. This is the essence of asymmetric maritime advantage. The adversary's superior firepower matters less when they cannot find targets to engage. Sweden's entry into NATO elevates this dynamic from a national strategy to a regional one. The Baltic Sea is rapidly transforming into a NATO-fortified zone where interoperability will define operational success. Finnish Pohjanmaa-class corvettes, Danish Iver Huitfeldt-class air defense frigates and Norwegian Nansen-class ASW frigates all contribute high-end capabilities. In such a network, the Visby becomes even more valuable. While larger NATO ships project presence and deterrence, Visby contributes stealth, unpredictability, and early warning capacity. It can vanish into the archipelagos and reappear where least expected, providing reconnaissance, ambush potential or defensive coverage to more visible Allied assets. Looking toward the 2030s, Sweden plans to introduce larger surface combatants, including the future Luleå-class. These ships will bring expanded command and control capacity, long-range air defense and enhanced endurance for operations beyond coastal waters. Yet the Visby will not be overshadowed by these developments. Rather, its mission will evolve. As Swedish and NATO fleets extend their reach into deeper Baltic waters and beyond, the Visby will remain the prime guardian of the littoral zone. It will conduct reconnaissance, forward observation, and first strike ambushes. It will be the first to detect a hostile intrusion, and the first to respond. Ultimately, the Visby-class corvette represents more than a technological platform. It is an expression of a uniquely Swedish defense philosophy. Many nations pursue warships that symbolize prestige through size, firepower, or global reach. Sweden builds vessels that embody purpose, efficiency and environmental adaptation. The Visby intimidates not by scale but by uncertainty. An adversary cannot easily determine where it is, when it will engage, or how many more like it lurk nearby. In maritime conflict, uncertainty itself is a strategic asset. This philosophy reflects Sweden's belief in intellectual and technological superiority over numerical supremacy. Instead of attempting to match large navies ship for ship, Sweden has shaped the battlefield to its own strengths: stealth, geography, mobility, and precise engineering. This approach is not only cost-effective but strategically optimal for a contested and complex sea like the Baltic. As Sweden continues modernizing its navy and deepening its integration with NATO, the Visby stands as both a practical tool and a symbolic one. It represents the idea that security is achieved not through overwhelming force but through superior understanding of the operating environment and disciplined adaptation to it. In the future Baltic battle space, where speed, stealth and information dominance will matter as much as firepower, the Visby-class corvette will remain one of the region's most influential and consequential platforms.